there, good morning everybody. It's JB Portillo with the TV station, and I'm so excited because we've got a superb topic today and a new face. This is Larry Fleury, and he is, among many other things, the new marketing director at the POA.
That's correct. I'm excited to be here today. Thanks for having me, and it's been a great start to the season, I suppose, for me in terms of my role at the POA, and a lot of exciting things before the year ends.
That's right.
Yes.
And he's even more than that. Here's a couple of other things that's going to happen with Larry. Larry is now on the board here at the TV station. He is bringing all kinds of much needed skills. Thank you so much. And he's going to start working with me, and sometimes you'll see Larry for Let's Talk About It.
That's right. I'm excited to be on board and collaborate on these projects as well as lead them. So I love talking about certain things in the community, and I'm a very passionate person when it comes to these creative outlets.
That's right. And we do the In the Know together for the POA.
That's correct. So you might see my face over there sometimes.
Yeah.
So this isn't our first time together, so it's been great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Give us the little cliff notes about your media background before we get into our subject today.
Sure. I mean, obviously I'm the marketing director at the POA, and I've been in marketing roles for a variety of years, over a decade, and worked myself into Bella Vista recently. In college, I worked at the Collegio, which was our university newspaper, as a reporter and a website editor of sorts. So that gave me a bunch of technicalities and working on the show. And then moving forward, I've worked with local broadcast televisions and like an MMJ format, which is a multimedia journalist. It's kind of what they call new reporters on the field, and slowly developed networking with different radio stations, television stations. Even later today, I'm going down to Fayetteville to talk with KUAF to talk about media in the community. So
excellent.
Yeah, so it's my big media day. So
Yeah.
I love it. It's a big passion of mine, and I'm excited to help out here for BVC TV.
Thank you. When we talked a little earlier, I thought, okay, Larry, what are we going to talk about today? And you threw out this term, third space.
Yes, third places.
Spaces.
Places, yes.
Yeah, places. Sorry.
Correct.
What on earth?
Yeah.
Jump right in, buddy.
Yeah, so third places, for those of you who don't know, third place is not your first or second place, which sounds silly enough, but simple enough. So your first place is your home. It's where people usually spend most of their free time and evening time as a family unit, or when they're not at work, which is your second place, work. So when you're not at home and you're not at work, the other places are called third places. And those are places where community connects and networks, works together. You may not realize it initially. So you have places like coffee shops, the YMCA, recreation centers, golf courses. Those are your third places. It's a place to find community and find relationships and bonding. And sometimes it's just for relaxation, for recreation. It's not always in the sense of having to have a community, but that is kind of the main purpose.
Could you have a third place with just yourself?
That's a very meditative question. Usually a third place is a physical place.
Place. Okay.
So,
but if you went out to, do you have to have all these people surrounding you?
Not necessarily. So a third place could be a park. It could be a coffee shop where you're sitting by yourself reading a book. It could be like the mall. And we're starting to see a decline in third places in the past 30 years.
Because of the phone thing?
The phone is a great example of why the declines happen with social media. The result and answers were to be social and be more connected, but the problem is we're not in proximity to each other. We're not physically near each other. We're socially together, but physically away. Religious institutions, have gone down in terms of connection, and those were places where people gathered. Other connection places were, like I said, YMCAs, the mall. When I was a kid, going to the mall on a Friday night was a big deal.
Yes.
And now, malls are a little more desolate with the access to the internet and shopping online. But those
I don't
were
even know any more malls. Are there malls?
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, there's Pinnacle over in Rogers.
Well, that's true.
That's technically a mall, so
But it's kind of outside.
yeah, it's like a strip mall of sorts. But it is a place where you could congregate and you see people you may know from other places and from your work, and you could have lunch with people. And while those places still exist, they're not as frequented as they were 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. The cool thing about the POA and about Bella Vista in general is there's lakes, there's golf courses, there's restaurants, there's all these places to meet up and do things. And then Bella Vista has all these organizations like the Fly Tires Club, the radio station here, or the television station, the Historical Museum, and many, many more. So if you want to get involved or just have some camaraderie or fellowship in any sort of way, Bella Vista is such a cool place to do that.
It really is.
Because, Bentonville, Rogers, Fayetteville, they all have some sort of connection. So they're not as developed, I think, in terms of the historical value that Bella Vista offers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what made you say third places when I ask you that question? Is that kind of on your radar to help develop in Bella Vista?
What's funny is I actually first heard the term, to give proper credit to a friend of mine. Her name's Brooke Beerhouse. She lives in Bentonville, in Rogers area. She opened up a coffee shop there called Third Space Coffee.
Oh.
And when she was opening up the coffee shop, they were looking for logo ideas, and she had kind of a rough idea of what it could look like. And I said, hey, I'm very community oriented, and we kind of knew each other. And I said, I would love to help develop this logo. It's kind of my background in marketing and communications. And we worked on some branding and guidelines and came up with this great logo. So if you're on 8th Street in Bentonville,
Okay.
it's where the Best Friends Animal Society is.
Oh, yes, I know that.
So there's a coffee shop inside called Third Space Coffee.
Of course there is. I got Molly there. I've forgotten.
Yes, so it's a great community center place. So you could have coffee, play with the cats, play with the dogs, and hopefully adopt an animal. And so if you're ever in there and you see a big yellow logo, I've had a very strong hand in putting that together, which was a really cool idea. But I asked Brooke, I'm like, what is a third space? And she broke it down for me. And then there's a book that was written in 1989 by Ray Oldenburg, and it's called The Great Good Places. And in that book was the first time they mentioned the concept of a third place. Before that, it was out there. Obviously, we've had diners and meetup places forever. But in the book, they break down, even in historical ancient times, the Romans had gathering places, the ancient Greeks had gathering places, and, the Europeans had gathering places. And early American revolutionaries had, certain taverns and places to meet outside of, because back then working was more than 8 hours a day.
Yes.
People would work all day and sleep maybe a few hours, and any free time was probably spent at a tavern, and that was a great place to meet your community. And more locally and more recently, we had town halls and gathering things, events, and like I said, even those events like PTA meetings, those have gone down in attendance over the last 30 years as well. So but I'm hoping to see a trend in people wanting to get together again. I think social media's hit the bell curve of we're getting kind of exhausted of being alone and reaching out, but not physically being in proximity with each other. So I think you're going to see more events in terms of Bella Vista. I like to look to our neighbors in Bentonville. They do a great job with like First Fridays, farmers markets, downtown events. They put together a bunch of cool, chamber coffee meetups, after hours meetups. And Bella Vista, like I said, has organizational things like this. And I'm excited to see more of those stretch, whether it's through the city, separate organizations, or the POA, where I work. So I'm excited to help develop that a little bit more, because I think community is the number one most important thing we could do. Like, if we're all just kind of alone in life, it makes everything tougher. Solving problems is tougher. Being in relationships is tougher. So just having that sense of community is important for me.
All right, I'm going to throw you a curve.
Okay.
You're an extrovert.
To an extent, sure.
Okay, I'm not. I know you're going to laugh, but I'm not. I'm an introvert. So I have that skill set where I could go out and do all that stuff.
Sure.
But I have to have my cave at night.
I get it.
Yeah. So what about those introverts? Are you trying to just make it a level playing field maybe where you can come and be comfortable and what?
Yeah.
Tell me, help me.
And I think the logic there is introverts might naturally want to be more isolated and do their own thing. And we just want to have, in my opinion, the option for the extroverts to meet up. And hopefully introverts have those moments to want to, socialize and meet up with people. So I would like to say I'm a socialvert introvert as well. I think everyone has a battery, and mine feels fully charged some days, and I'm very social. But when it runs low, I need to isolate, rest, read a book, just do my own thing, and then a day or two later I kind of come out of the woodwork and socialize again. But I like having the option of like, hey, there's a place I could socialize again.
I worked the elections last night.
That's right.
And we were talking about this in between people coming in. And somebody, one of the ladies there, was talking about how she missed communal tables in restaurants.
That's right.
So what do you think about that? You think that would work here?
I hope so. I'm a big advocate for communal togetherness. Back in my hometown, and when I was in college, some friends of mine, we should open a restaurant called The Table, and it's just a big giant table, and everyone sits there, and you get to meet your neighbor, and it's a huge thing. And I think that's a very cool idea. I think communal tables, community gatherings are very, very important. Especially like For the Love NWA down in Bentonville, they have this little trailer that feeds certain homeless and everything. So I think it's just really cool.
Sorry, I am supposed to turn this stuff off, and I didn't do it, and that's not a good thing. We like these shows to be a little organic.
That's right.
So that's what we're doing this morning. Okay, so, I was thinking about that. Now, some people would not want to go sit at a communal table. In Europe,
yeah,
you do that.
Sure.
Here, it's not a thing, or is it?
No, well, and you know what's interesting? I like to think of coffee shops as a very communal space, as
That's
a
true.
third place. But coffee shops have become a hybrid of sorts of third space and almost second places, because with remote work, you have people who will work. They have to focus. They can't socialize. They're there to work. But if they take a break, they have the option to be surrounded by people in this open concept. So it's a very cool gathering place. I love the atmosphere of a coffee shop because there's music in the background. You can put your headphones on. There's usually something happening. And when you need to focus, you could focus. But when you need a break, there's usually a community member there you could talk to. And the other cool thing about third places is all these are fluid. It's not just like I go home, I go to work, I go to a bar. It's I can meet a friend at a community organization, and they become such good friends. I invite them to my house for dinner. Or we have a book club that met somewhere. Now they come to my house for book club, and then one of them was a coworker. So there's like all this overlap. I think your home is this very familial. You bring people in you trust, and you want to develop better friendships with and communal aspects with. Whereas the third spaces are, I'm meeting new people and strangers, but learning about my community, so I could hopefully invite them to my home and teach them about my work and really build a bridge between all those places.
But, sometimes home, you need a third place.
Absolutely. And I think, yes, it is important to separate when it needs to be separated because, there's a different version of me at home where I'm watching TV zone and out, and where I'm at work, I'm very turned on and keeping my brain sharp and having to do my work. And at a coffee shop, I might be more extroverted and kind of just going with the flow there.
Well, we're going to take a very quick break.
Absolutely.
And come back and dig a little deeper here.
Perfect.
Because I really want to know what you have in mind for the POA and bringing these concepts in.
Love it.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Experience the Macadoodles difference. Shop leisurely in our friendly and spacious store 7 days a week. Browse our wine cellar. We offer the top labels and hot new wines. Wide aisles, hardwood floors, and easy-to-find, well-lit displays make shopping enjoyable. Customers are our #1 priority. If you can't find something, our courteous staff will assist you and we'll even help you to your car with your purchase. World-class customer service, largest and best selection in the area, low prices. Experience the Macadoodles difference today.
Are we back? Hey, we back. I just got the signal. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Larry, let's continue on. And I noticed that I said third spaces. You said third places. It's kind of the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, semantics, sure.
Okay,
It's
okay.
whatever it is, but I think the technical term is places.
Okay.
But like I said, there's a coffee shop now called Third Spaces.
Yes.
And which totally makes sense for it's a space that's not your home and not your work. So I love the idea of, either or it's a third quadrant or a third area of your life that you don't have to, be home and you don't have to be at work. It's a place to kind of explore, kind of have fun. And that's a great thing about Northwest Arkansas in general is there's music venues everywhere. Mm-hmm. There's art, cultures, and galleries everywhere. There's plays. There's all sorts of activities to do. And even the trails are a third place in a way, getting on a bike. And there's also a defining line between what's a third place and what's a public place.
Oh, tell me.
And it might seem silly, but really like a sidewalk or an open field next to, a building, a park that's not really built for community, but like a big field to run around in or fly kites in. Those are just public places. They could become third places if people put on events there and there's like a race, a 5K taking up a road. So you could develop a third place concept in those areas. But in reality, knowing like a third place is more invitational. It's more has like an operation of hours. It's like, hey, this is open for activity during these hours.
You have, and I'm probably not going to use the right words here, but each of those spaces, first place, second place, third place, and we're going to talk about fourth place in a minute, but you're a different person in each of those,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you are who you really are at home, vegging in front of the TV or whatever you're doing.
Sure.
And at work, like you say, you have a focus, you have a job, you have whatever. You can be whoever you want to in that space.
That's true. Yeah, you can make up a persona if you want to, and it's a lot of fun. I am an extrovert, so I love going out and about and meeting new people. I'm a big believer that if you just went home and you just went to work and that was your only thing in life, you as a human being doesn't develop the way it probably should.
What's the old thing? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
That's right.
And it's true.
It's true.
And you don't even know it sometimes.
Yeah, and there's another book that came out about third places called Bowling Alone, and it was about how the bowling alley was a big gathering place back in the day, and now it's kind of withered down a little bit with, whether it's social media, whether it's new activities out in the world, but bowling places in leagues and having these communal things were also, a very important thing back in, 30 years ago. And again, I hope to see us go over the bell curve of we're getting back into it. People are excited to be together.
You're kind of an old school guy.
I am. I'm very pen and paper with certain things and very digital with others, obviously. But I always tell people I'm probably 50 years older in my mentality than I should be. I prefer fly fishing and bird watching and going hunting, but I also like, going to the art museum and concerts and, at the front row and exploratory eating at, very nice restaurants when I can. And
exploratory? As in just trying new things?
yeah, like foods I would never probably eat. When I'm at home, I might eat mac and cheese.
Yeah, right.
But when I go out, I'm like, there's this weird thing I can't even pronounce. I might try it just to see what it's like. Yeah. So there's a different version of me in that sense of I'm more exploratory outside of the home. And I think, again, that's what makes you a better human being is how much of yourself are you expanding, I suppose.
So your background is in sociology as well, did you say?
My background's in
people.
So yeah, I mean, in marketing.
Marketing.
And communications, you learn a lot about human psychology and sociology and kind of why people do what they do. And, on the buying product side and marketing side, you're like, well, do people want to make a purchasing decision because of, what's the psychology behind it? So that kind of intrigued me, and I had some great psychology professors in college that really intrigued me on, why people do what they do. And obviously, psychology is the study of the mind. Sociology is the study of people and, society. So both are fascinating internally, externally, what's going on. And as a person who deals with people every day, whether it's getting emails from someone who's upset about something or someone who's very gracious about something, it's really cool to see and hear what's going on inside of them. And usually the answer is not too far away. It's usually just a shift in perspective and realizing, maybe they didn't see it the way they should have initially, or maybe I didn't see it the way initially. So,
or you don't know what happened to them right before they walked in and started talking to you.
So it's just having a lot of empathy. So when it comes to my work and my home, those relationships of both places require a lot of empathy, understanding, whether it's me and my wife, being on the same page, or me and a coworker making sure we're aligned on a project. And then these third places are kind of the perfect place to unwind, but when you meet someone, you are being empathetic, you're learning more about them because you don't know them at all. So you could be like, hey, tell me more about yourself. I heard someone say treat coffee shops like summer camp. Yeah, so when you're sitting there by yourself and you're reading a book and you see someone else reading a book, you're like, why don't you just go over and say, hey, how's it going? I saw you reading a book. Well, that's super cool.
And if they pull the book up in front of their face, you know not to go near them.
And obviously take some social cues if they want to be alone. But but if you see people, it's a great place to meet people. I'm a big advocate of Northwest Arkansas and coffee because we have I think 50 locations. We're home to Onyx.
That's right.
And Seven Brew, which is now like a big national chain, but they're based in Springdale. And, Airship Coffee, Third Space Coffee. So.
But, right across the Missouri line, there's this little place called Morning, I can't remember, but it's the coolest little coffee shop. If you haven't been there, if you go to the Jane Walmart and just drive up a little bit, it's Morning Song or Morning, I don't know, but it's really cool. Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay.
We just have a few more minutes here. Is there a fourth place?
Not that I'm aware of. Maybe that's something I develop and may get really famous for. But, if I had to say there was a fourth place in mind, it would probably be just kind of internally looking in yourself. And kind
of a hybrid maybe?
Yeah, who you are, spiritually, emotionally, what's going on inside of you. So, but yeah, the big three are the three places.
Okay. So what did you have in mind that you can talk about for the POA to kind of help make it more social and use those places that we all have?
Sure.
How do we do that?
The great thing already is the system's already put together. So we have an events coordinator I get to work with daily, and we have karaoke events, we have game nights, we have restaurants, we have
you had a nice dinner
golf tournaments.
Thing.
We had a dinner theater, mystery dinner theater. I heard you were there. And we have Christmas events, July Jam. So there's something happening year round. And my goal is to make sure we have more of those events and make sure we're publicizing more of those events.
So why don't we have a talent show?
I think
wouldn't that be fun?
Maybe that's on the docket for next year. Okay. So keep your eye out if you live in Bella Vista. That could be something coming up.
Because we have, we took the stage out at the rec, but we have, I understand, a movable stage.
Yes, of sorts.
So that, we could do things like that. Okay. So, all right. What else you have to tell us today? What do you see maybe... And I know you do a podcast, too.
I do. It's more on the personal side, but it's called Link Up with Larry. My first season of sorts, we interviewed a lot of local people and talked about their love and interest of Northwest Arkansas and what that looked like. And as I move into season 2, it'll probably be more nationally and globally focused. I have some friends who do some really cool things beyond Northwest Arkansas. So very excited to share that soon. But obviously, I took a pause, a little interim break
Yeah.
to focus on, the POA and starting up my role here since I've only been here 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
But I see myself here for the foreseeable future. But now that I got my feet wet and I'm landed, I feel good, picking up where I left off on some other projects.
All right. Well, so you're not going to share anything that you can't talk
Well,
yet. I don't know if this is the same thing or not, and it kind of probably isn't. But one of the things recently that the POA has done, as you walk in BV Barn Grill, and you go right into that little place off to the left.
Yes.
One of the really cool things that you guys did is actually put almost it's a workspace, but it's also a space to talk.
That's a great
Was
point.
that one?
So, yes, so beforehand, we had a couple seating options. They weren't utilized. And we had a conversation like, let's put a communal table with plug-ins and lighting and more chairs. And now we're starting to see more people work remotely in there. They'll stop and grab lunch at the barn grill, then come back up and do work. And it's a great entry point. And that's a great thing about third places, too, is when people put on events, it's just, you might be nervous to go do something, especially as an introvert. Some of these events are great warm-ups because they're usually passive and a little more lighthearted. And if you enjoy that, you're like, wow, I really like these people here. It was really easy to get along with. They weren't pressuring me. So the next time they have a bigger event, you might feel more inclined to do something.
Right.
So this is kind of one of those soft things we're doing where it's no pressure. If you want to come to the Bella Vista Country Club, you're more than welcome to utilize that space and remote work and check things out. It's a beautiful building. It's a Fay Jones building, so there's some historical elements there. But and we have Blowing Springs and the Gear Garden.
We're going to kill the keg.
Kill the kegs
this weekend,
coming up.
right?
That's right. So it'll be our last keg. We're finishing it out, and so if people want to go grab a drink. It's our last big hurrah before the cold of winter comes, and we got to shut her down. But we're very excited. It was a great season. I think we're going to do some cooler things starting next year around that Blowing Springs area that I think you'll be excited to hear about once, not quite public yet, but we're working out some details. But there will be a lot more events next year, so very excited.
All right. Well, you got any, I don't mean last words, but do you have any last words? What would you like the audience to know about the POA, about to be excited for one thing, right?
Sure.
To be excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things ahead. I mean, obviously winter's around the corner, so we are focusing on events for the winter. It's for me, I am one of those people who get very I'm a big proponent of summertime. Sun setting at 9 p.m. It's warm out still, so you can stay up a little later and you don't feel quite tired. But now it's like by 6 o'clock, I'm like, it's time for bed, right? And you realize it's not that late. So we still want to have programming in the winter. So we're putting on some things. And so just keep your eye out.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Be excited because just because it's winter doesn't mean things are slowing down.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay, so Bella Vista, I'm excited that you're going to see more and more of Larry. He's just going to bring on a whole different concept to what we're doing here and to the POA. And I can't wait to see I get excited about new things. When things start getting to be like this, it's like boring,
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what changes are coming up. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been great.
It's been fun.
Yes.
I always enjoy our conversations.
Oh, this is so good. Love it.
Okay. All right. Well, BB, we're going to see you next month for Let's Talk About It. I don't know what we're going to talk about. It'll be a surprise. So until then, have a great holiday season for Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. If you could also eat at the POA restaurants.
That's
That'd
right.
be really cool. But anyway, we'll see you next month. Thank you so much for tuning in.